That is the essence of democracy. What is the problem? I am not able to understand. See, the new system has been discussed in public and that have been agreed by one and all. And today, the budget is not going to be state-specific. It is for the country. It is an annual exercise. I don't know why anybody should have, unless they want to criticize it for opposition's sake. That's a different matter. Secondly, the session is going to start with a joint sitting of the House where the President of India is going to address the Parliament. He will be outlining the policies and programs of the government, and there is an ample opportunity to discuss about various policies, aspects during the course of Thanksgiving motion to the President's address. Later we will also have an opportunity to hear the budget and also discuss the budget. In between we will have an opportunity to analyze the budget during our parliamentary committee system, and afterwards again we will be meeting together. I only hope that the opposition understands the people want debate, discussion.
Well, there you have it. The budget session is about to convene and a lot of India's future is going to be decided here today. The economic survey, of course, is expected later on today. Followed by that, tomorrow is the big day when both the union budget as well as the general budget are going to be presented. Let me go across to Madhav Gopalakrishnan, our senior editor, who's joining us with a panel of guests from all parties. Well, Madhav, it is going to be interesting for us to see to what extent the opposition is going to discuss, debate and not disrupt.
Well, absolutely, Meghna. We have to see really whether this time round the opposition parties are in a mood to discuss and not disrupt. I have with me Rajiv Gada, who incidentally was the author of the State of the Economy report that the Congress released yesterday. Rajiv, first and foremost, will this session see more disruption, or will we see the opposition parties actually engage in discussion? Because we do know that budget sessions typically, we've seen the run-up has been very political, but as far as the session itself is concerned, typically it doesn't see the kind of politics that we see in other sessions.
Well, it all depends on what the contents of the budget are. We are very, very concerned that the government may not adhere to the democratic norms and traditions that we established, that when major states go for elections, that the budget needs to be postponed, that there should be not even a hint of unfairness, and not even a hint of an unlevel playing field, so that the election can take place without hidden or overt stops from the government. So if the government chooses to ignore such democratic practices, and it's a government that's known for this kind of behavior, then we will see a reaction, which, we are here to make government function, parliament function, to make the country run. I hope the government is in the same mood as well.
Right, Sudesh, that's a very important ask that the opposition has already set as a precondition, that you will not make stops that will affect the level playing field.
Madhav, sounds vacuous that you are issuing a threat even before the budget is presented. You see, they are very responsible people in the government. You have seen that the Supreme Court and also Election Commission, two important institutions, they have not taken exception to budget being presented when elections are on. They have said that it should not be state specific, and we say that the budget is for the whole country. It's not a state specific. Issuing such threats doesn't augur well for democracy, because you are creating a situation where you will say that yes, the government has not done this because you should have said. Wait for the budget to come, and then probably if you speak, you'll have more credibility.
Rajiv, you've authored that particular report. Now, in a nutshell, can you tell us what are the key demands, apart from the preconditions that you're setting, in terms of the economy, what are the key demands that the Congress has of the government?
The government has inflicted a nuclear strike on the economy with demonetization. Based on that, the impacts have been, the economy has slowed down, the vulnerable, the informal economy, the poor, the marginal, the farmer, all hurting. The government, the small and medium enterprises are hurting, and this is post demonetization. The CSO already said the economy was going down before demonetization. So the economy is hurting. The government must come up with imaginative and compassionate moves that ensure that these groups are given a chance to get back on their feet. And this has to be done in a manner that does not queer the electoral pitch.
That's the important question, because if they reach out to farmers, if they reach out to small traders, if they reach out to working class, if they reach out to women, then you can always say that these have been aimed at the polls, Rajiv. So how will that balance be achieved?
So that is what we have to wait and see what they will do tomorrow. because that's why we said don't do the budget at this time, because you will fall victim to temptation, and you will try and spin your way out of it. But the truth of the matter is, you would have done something that really creates a harmful tradition.
How will you do the balancing act, Sudesh Verma? Because this is a very tough ask.
Madhav, let me tell you, balancing act is not needed. We don't have to get tempted because elections are there. Because we already have a manifesto for that state. And that is a comprehensive manifesto for how we are going to develop Uttar Pradesh, what is our vision for Punjab. We have come out with a manifesto and will be bound by that. So we don't need a central budget to further lure the voters, not at all. And this is not Mr. Narendra Modi's style of functioning. He calls this spade a spade. If the country has to improve, if the country has to come out of parallel economy to the banking system, it has to be demonetized, and he has taken the decision. And this is not against the poor people. Actually, it is in fact to help them. Finally, they are the beneficiary if government has more money to spend. Social sector, as I was saying, the social sector spending will increase, will have more money, more elbow room to develop the economy, and we are looking at double-digit growth after some time. This is temporary setback. With GST rolling down and then with the demonetization, these are going to have a cascading impact on the economy in the positive way.
Right. If you look at the statistics, last question, Rajiv. If you look at the statistics, both the government and the opposition seem to have diametrically opposite views, whether it's growth of highways, whether it's rural demand. You're saying one thing, the BJP is saying something completely opposite. How does the common man or the citizen reconcile this data?
All this data, whatever data that we have relied on, is in the public domain. It's many times from government sources. So you please look at that data, examine the report in more detail, and tell me if there is any single data point that you can quibble with, and then you can just ask the same question to the government and say, why are you ignoring this data? Is it because it shows you and your economic performance in bad light? Is it because it demonstrates your economic incompetence? And and the way you sort of blunder and keep harping on India being the fastest growing economy. Well, you've slowed that down. We could have grown much faster if not for the economic mismanagement and the blunders that we see under Narendra Modi and his economic.
Madhav, you see, Congress has already taken a stand one day before the budget. This is a new practice they have started. It's good. They have already bind themselves to a stand. So whatever budget we have, they would not be able to transform much from the stand they have already taken. I'm sure the economy survey is going to give a different data and cut their points point by point.
Right, Sudesh Verma and Rajiv Gowda, thank you so much for joining us on this discussion. Clearly, a very heated political discussion, this particular budget session. We will have to wait and see exactly how this takes place in terms of the political battle taking place not just within Parliament as far as the budget is concerned, but also on battleground Uttar Pradesh and the other 4 states that are headed for the polls, Meghna.
Madhav, do stay on with us. On our screens, we can see visuals of Pranab Mukherjee, the President of India. Dr. Mukherjee there traveling in his carriage. Remember, we have seen him in the past using the carriage, making a bit of a departure from the other presidents who've been traveling in cars. In his little buggy there, you have Dr. Pranab Mukherjee traveling ahead of the budget session along with his security guards, all of them on horsebacks, of course. Well, it is a fiery budget session that we expect. It is going to begin very soon now. It's already 11:45 in another 15 minutes or so. The Prime Minister is already headed inside along with his coterie of ministers. 15 minutes or so, we expect the budget session of 2017 to begin. And more importantly, later on in the day, we expect the economic survey to be presented by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. Tomorrow, of course, is going to be the big budget day right here on NewsX. We're going to get you extensive coverage. But today, we are also going to be explaining to you what you can expect from the budget tomorrow. Well, we have several people lined up for that. We have experts from across the industry and, more importantly, political faces as well who have been telling us how their parties are going to be responding to the budget. Remember, the appeal going out from the government has been to have a fruitful discussion, but will the opposition ensure that there is discussion and debate and not disruptions? Well, there you have it. President Pranab Mukherjee, they're headed towards the Parliament. He is going to be addressing the Parliament right ahead of the budget session. There you have it, him along with his presidential guards. And of course, riding there in his buggy. President Pranab Mukherjee is going to be addressing all the parliamentarians. It is going to be a significant day in the parliament today. It is the beginning of the budget session. We expect the economic survey to happen, to be presented by the finance minister. This is expected sometime in the afternoon around 2:33ish p.m. We'll have a more definite picture later on in the day. And of course, tomorrow 11 a.m. is when the finance minister Arun Jaitley is going to be presenting both the union budget, the general budget, as well as the rail budget. Well, all eyes are going to be on that. After all, it is India's future which is going to be at stake. This is the charting of India's economy. The big question is, after demonetization, what are going to be the incentives that the government's going to be giving? Well, let me go across to Madhav Gopalakrishnan. He's joining us with panelists from across the party lines. Well, Madhav, even as the president is making his way across to the parliament to address the parliamentarians there, the big question is, after demonetization, what can the Aam Aadmi people like you and me expect from this budget? Madhav? Well, we'll just try and reconnect with him, but that's the big story that we are tracking for you. Remember, the TMC and the Congress have been leading the blockade against the NDA. The TMC yesterday came out and said that they are not going to be attending either today's session or tomorrow's session, because tomorrow is Saraswati Puja, which they say is bigger than any religious festival. That Saraswati Puja is something that they have to be part of, and hence they are going to be giving the budget session a miss. But right after that, in a written notice which the TMC sent, they didn't mention Saraswati Puja per se, but said that this is in protest against demonetization. They also said that this is against protest of two of their MPs that they say were illegally detained regarding the Sharda chit fund scam by the CBI. Meanwhile, even as the president makes his way across to the parliament to address the joint session, let's listen in to what the Prime Minister had to say right ahead of entering the parliament.
सत्र का सर्वाधिक उपयोग जनहित के लिए हो, सार्थक चर्चा हो, बजट की भी बारीकी से चर्चा हो। पहली बार बजट 1 फरवरी को हो रहा है। आप सबको स्मरण होगा, हमारे देश में पहले बजट शाम को 5 बजे प्रस्तुत किया जाता था। जब अटल जी की सरकार थी, तब से उसे समय परिवर्तित करके सुबह सदन प्रारंभ होते ही बजट शुरू हुआ। आज एक और नई परंपरा का प्रारंभ हो रहा है। एक तो बजट करीब 1 महीने पहले आ रहा है, दूसरा इसके साथ रेल बजट भी जोड़ दिया गया है। इस सदन में इस पर व्यापक चर्चा होगी और उससे आने वाले दिनों में क्या लाभ होने वाले हैं, ये भी मुखर होकर के आएगा। मैं सभी राजनीतिक दलों से मेरा विश्वास है कि वे हुई है। सत्र का सर्वाधिक उपयोग जनहित के लिए हो, सार्थक चर्चा हो, बजट की भी बारीकी से चर्चा हो। पहली बार बजट 1 फरवरी को हो रहा है। आप सबको स्मरण होगा, हमारे देश में पहले बजट शाम को 5 बजे प्रस्तुत किया जाता था। जब अटल जी की सरकार थी, तब से उसे समय परिवर्तित करके सुबह।
Well, the Prime Minister there hoping for a successful budget session. Well, with that, time for a quick break.